Tell us about what you're currently working on. And I know that you shared with me offline a little bit about some of the pushback of the Affordable Care Act and what's going on in Washington right now and how you're going to be hitting the ground fighting to make sure that the Californians and your constituents are not hindered or affected by some of the, as I like to use the word, sabotage that is taking place in Washington. What are some of the things that you're doing as far as chair of this committee to make sure that you can block that if you can?
This is why I like you, Brandon, because you understand how to call it like it is. It is sabotage. But this sabotage is not going to help anybody. It's only going to cause us to have a Trump tax. Some people call it Trumponomics because it trumps little people for corporate interests and the very wealthy. And we can do a lot better. And it really costs everybody more. Here's the whole point about healthcare that often gets lost. If people don't have insurance, they go to the emergency room to receive care, or they die early. Two things that means. One, if you die early, that's lost economic productivity and unnecessary distress to your family. Second of all, if you go to the emergency room, that is the most expensive care. When California was living through pre-Affordable Care Act life, we had double-digit uninsured, somewhere in the range of 20%. Right now we're at 7% uninsured. That means that we save a lot of money on hospital visits. We save a lot of money on the management of chronic conditions, which means that if you look like you're pre-diabetic or look like you got heart problems or look like that you got high blood pressure, you can start treating it early in your 30s rather than your 60s when you're near end-stage renal failure and you're not in the best of health. We can do better as a community. We can do better as a region and a state. And if everybody is in the healthcare system, the risk and the cost is spread as opposed to the sick or the low income not being in the system, and then everybody else pays more through higher premiums because they can't afford the ER cost. The ER is so expensive that a moderately wealthy person could not afford the actual cost of care. So what we're trying to do in California is help the federal government appreciate very clearly that if they want to impose a Trump tax on us, we're not afraid to call it just that. Because if they cut the Affordable Care Act, even though the Affordable Care Act repeal failed, and it was so vain, church would say vain glory, that you tried to attack the Affordable Care Act on the anniversary of its passage in March. Then to undermine President Barack Obama and his historic accomplishment. Then you try to revive it after that didn't work because it was an artificial timeline and it was too quick in terms of their repeal and replace strategy, which was just going to make America sick again. And you get a little further down the line to just this week, just yesterday, on the 100th day of the Trump presidency, you try to do another repeal vote in the U.S. House of Representatives.
With timing, right?
With what timing?
Yeah.
Not vetted, not well constructed. You're looking for a headline, and you're hurting people. And so not being able to accomplish that has forced their hand. So what we anticipate they're going to try to do, the president and those who do not care about health care in the Republican Party, that's not everybody, because in part the reason why the Affordable Care Act is still in existence as a structure is because Republicans, all Democrats in the Congress, and Republicans have said, this doesn't work. The ideas that you have, we may not agree with everything, but this repeal system doesn't work. But those who continue to try to have a fetish to undermine the Affordable Care Act and universal health care are going to try to cut it through subterfuge and sabotage. You can call it death by 1,000 cuts. We will not let that happen in California. There were millions and millions of people. I think it was 2 million in LA County alone who were uninsured before the Affordable Care Act. Now people have an insurance card that means that they can go and get a free doctor's visit every year on their birthday or on Mother's Day or Father's Day if they're of a certain age. They can get all kinds of free services. They can get nutrition training. So let's just say you don't know how to cook anything but hog maws and chicken. This deep fried and beer batter, or you like your pozole or your carne asada extra greasy. They even do for free now. Your healthcare will teach you how to cook in a healthier way,
yeah.
and to grow fruits and vegetables into read labels for nutrition's sake.
Wow.
All things that will improve your personal care and ultimately your wellness. And that's what the Affordable Care Act is about. It's wellness management, so you can stay out of the emergency room and not die early.